She should have died completely. Cold steel had pierced her heart. Her last breath left her lips on the stone floor of the Red Keep, her blood spreading like red petals. Jon Snow's eyes were full of sorrow, and Dragon's cry of grief echoed. Through the broken throne room, the Iron Throne melted into nothing under the dragon's fire. That should have been the end of her story, but death, in her case, was only a door. Drogon did not burn her. He carried her gently in his massive claws, wings beating with sorrow and rage. He flew far, far east, beyond the lands of men, beyond the maps of Westeros. The sky changed color. The stars above him grew unfamiliar. He flew into the unknown, and in that unknown place, something ancient waited. Far from the wars and kings of old, in a place beyond rivers and mountains, lay the hidden city of Valry. The people there were different. They wore robes of deep red and gold. They spoke in whispers, and their eyes carried firelight. They were the last followers of a forgotten order. Some called them dreamers. Others called them Fi or Ekeepers. When Dragoon landed at the edge of their city, the ground trembled. His wings folded, and he lowered Daenerys' body with care. Looked asleep, peaceful, but very dead. A young healer named Hayun stood among the priests. She felt the heat in the air shift. Her hands trembled, not in fear, but in awe. She had dreamed of this woman, not once, but many times. A woman wrapped in flame, with eyes like stars. In the dreams, she always stood at the edge, a fire between life and something greater. She is not gone, Hayun whispered. Her older brother Ji-won did not believe in fire or dreams. He was a builder of machines, a man of wires and metal. She is dead, he said. No breath, no heartbeat. Let her rest. But Hayun shook her head. She came here for a reason. The fire's not finished with her, the priests agreed. A rare and ancient ceremony began. Daenerys' body was placed on a bed of smooth black stone. Candles lit by dragon fire circled her. Incense burned in spirals. Drogon lay close, his body still, his eyes watching. He did not leave. He waited. Hoan stepped forward. Her voice was steady, but her heart raced. She had never led a ritual before. She pressed her hands to Daenerys' chest. She spoke the words passed down through time. Fire is not only destruction. Fire remembers. Fire gives life. Ji-won stood in the shadows, watching. He didn't believe, but something inside him hoped. The flames rose higher. The candles burst in golden light. Dragon's body glowed, heat swirling from his chest toward Daenerys. Hayun cried out, but she did not move her hands. Then the room went silent. A slow breath escaped Daenerys' lips. Her eyes opened, but they were not the same. They glowed with a soft golden fire. Not wild, not cruel, calm, deep. Ancient Hayun stepped back, tears in her eyes. Ji-won stared, his mouth open in disbelief. Where am I? Daenerys asked. Her voice was quiet, unsure. She looked down at her hands. They trembled, but they were warm. Hayun bowed her head. You are in Valry. The fire brought you here. Drogon brought you here. Daenerys sat up slowly. Her movements were weak but steady. I was dead. Yes, Ji-won said, stepping forward. But now you are something else. Daenerys looked at Drogon. He lowered his head, touching her forehead gently. A flash of memory ran through her mind. Cities in flame, people cheering, chains broken, her final breath. And then this place. The red sky, the warmth. The second breath, she was alive, but changed. Days passed. Daenerys stayed in Valry. Her strength returned. But she felt ... different. The fire inside her no longer pushed her toward war. It was quiet now, gentle. She watched the people of Valry. They lived simply. They prayed, but also built. They spoke of peace, not power. Hoan stayed close, offering kindness, not praise. Guan kept his distance, unsure what Daenerys truly. Was it one night? Daenerys stood at the edge of the city, looking at the stars. You should not be alive, G, one said beside her. I know, she said. Then why are you? She turned to him. Because I have something to finish. Not to rule, not to conquer, but to become who I was meant to be. G1 did not reply, but he did not walk away. Far across the sky, a cold light flickered. Something was coming. Hoeen saw it in her dreams. G1 read it in his machines. Daenerys felt it in her bones. Not all fire is born to burn the world. Some fire is born to stop the cold, and the cold was coming. She woke up with fire in her lungs, but she was breathing. Daenerys did not open her eyes at first. There was warmth on her skin, not the warmth of the sun. No, it was deeper, older, like the heat that lives in dragonfire. Her chest rose slowly. Her fingers twitched. Something inside her whispered, "You are not dead." She remembered the cold stone floor of the Red Keep. Jon's hand, the dagger, his eyes filled with pain. She remembered Dragon's scream, full of heartbreak, and then nothing. No pain, no sound, but now something had changed. A soft voice spoke beside her. She is awake. Daenerys opened her eyes. Above her, a golden ceiling shimmered with symbols she did not understand. The air smelled of ash, herbs, and something faintly sweet like burning flowers. She turned her head. 3 people stood at her side. They wore long red robes. Their eyes glowed, not with light, but with faith. You were brought by the last dragon, said the woman. He came from the west, carrying your body. He flew for many days and did not stop. We knew he was coming. Daenerys' lips were dry. Her voice was weak. Where, am I? One of the men knelt beside her. His name was June, a healer of flame. You are in Volantis, Queen of Ashes, in the Temple of the Red God, Queen of Ashes. She hated the name. But she said nothing. The Red Priestess, her name was Ariam, touched Daenerys' forehead. You have been dead for 3 days, but fire is not always the end. In fire, there is cleansing. In flame, there is return. Daenerys sat up slowly. She expected pain, but her body was whole, strong. Her scars were gone. Her skin was smooth, her heart beat not fast, but steady, full. Why would fire bring me back? She asked. Ariam smiled. Gently, because your story is not over. Outside the temple, Drogon waited. He had not left since he arrived. It was thinner now, but his eyes stayed bright. When Daenerys stepped outside for the first time, he let out a low growl, not of warning, but of welcome. She placed a hand on his snout. I'm sorry, she whispered. I failed you. Drogon closed his eyes. He did not blame her. He never had. Weeks passed. Volantis, the priests, cared for her, taught her the old ways. She learned how her body had been brought back through fire. Magic, through blood, through the power of the Red God, are single quotes 8. L-L-O-R. She met others too. A young man named Tay, quiet but brave, who had once seen a vision of her in a fire dream. A girl named Mia, born with red eyes, who said Daenerys had come to bring balance. At first, Daenerys stayed silent. She watched, she learned, but inside her, something stirred. A dream, a memory. She remembered her promise to break the wheel, and now the world had a new wheel. Council in King's Landing. Bran the Broken. Jon in exile. Sansa ruling the north. They thought she was gone, but she was not. One night, as stars lit the skies of Volantis, Daenerys stood at the highest balcony of the temple. Tay stood beside her. Why me? She asked him. Why bring back the one who burned cities? Tay looked at her without fear. Because your story was stolen. You were used. You were alone. Now you are not. Do you think I can be better? No, he said. I know you already are. She looked down at her hands. No fire now, just skin. Just life. She could feel the choice in front of her. Not far from Volantis, rumors had already begun. Stories of a silver-haired woman reborn in flame. A dragon. Seen flying across the seas. Red priests preaching of a queen risen from death, not to rule but to change the world. In the far north, Jon Snow heard the stories. He said nothing, but each night he stared at the stars and wondered. In King's Landing, Bran said nothing, but he knew. In Meereen, the freedmen wept and hoped. 1 month later, Daenerys stood again in front of Drogon. "I am not here to conquer," she said softly. "Not this time." Aeriam gave her a red pendant. "Then go. Be the flame that gives light, not death." Mia and a small group of believers joined her, not as soldiers, but as witnesses. She did not raise banners. She did not gather armies. She flew to the broken lands, to the places where fire had turned to ruin, to the places where kings ruled in fear and where the weak were crushed again. But now they saw a shadow in the sky, a dragon, and on its back a woman with silver hair and a calm face. They called her many names. The Flame returned, the Fire Mother, the Ash Queen reborn. But she spoke only one truth. "I am Daenerys Stormborn. I burned the world. Now I will help rebuild it." And this time, the fire in her hands was warm, not deadly. She healed villages. She broke chains again. She faced tyrants not with armies, but with truth. And behind her, people rose, not in fear, not in hate, but in hope. In the years that followed, the world changed again, not with war, but with light. Some say she disappeared once Meereen to the skies, into the stars. Others say she walks still, across forgotten lands where no one knows her face. But those who met her, those who followed her, speak of the same thing. She looked human, but inside her, she was more. Maybe fire is not for burning. Maybe it's for rising. And this time, the Dragon Queen did not fall. She soared.